Hello and good morning to UPSC viewers, chapter number 6 in this series. So, to go to the chapter, you have to click on Science and then in the table of contents, you have to click on chapter number 6 and this is the chapter on elements. Right, so chapter number 6 is talking about the various elements, their compositions, the number of metals, non-metals, metalloids, what are their properties, what is the difference, and so on. So let us start with the chapter elements. First module is introduction. Under this we know metals and non-metals and metalloids are the three types of elements. Metals are malleable, which means they can be beaten into sheets. Then they are also ductile, which is another property, which means that they can be pulled into wires. They are also good conductors of heat and electricity, but with an exception. And they are sonorous. Sonorous means that they produce sound, ringing sound when struck. However, there are certain exceptions to these rules. Metals such as lithium, sodium, potassium are known as alkali metals and they are very soft and can be easily cut with a knife. Not all elements or metals are solid. Mercury is a metal that is liquid at room temperature. Iodine is another element which is a non-metal and it is lustrous, whereas other non-metals are not lustrous. Carbon is a very special element. It exists in different allotropes or chemical compositions like diamond. Diamond is the hardest substance known to man and therefore it is used in many sharpening tools and manufacturing of tungsten filaments. Tungsten is used in light bulbs, so it is used in the manufacturing of tungsten filaments and for cutting and grinding. Another allotrope of carbon is graphite, and graphite is a good conductor of electricity. It is also used as a lubricant in machines where due to the very high temperature of work, oil cannot be used as it will evaporate. So there are certain facts related to metals. Generally, oxides of metals are basic in nature, whereas oxides of non-metals are acidic in nature. Sodium is one of the very reactive element and it reacts very rigorously with oxygen and hence it is stored under kerosene. Phosphorus also is very highly reactive and to prevent its reaction with oxygen, it is stored under water. Metals react with acid to produce hydrogen gas. However, non-metals do not react with acids. Some known elements and their chemicals compounds are brass, which is a compound of copper and zinc. Next, bronze, which is used in utensils, is a compound of copper and tin. And solder, which is used in the soldering iron, you can see here, is a compound of lead and tin, and it is used for welding electrical wires together. Out of the 98 naturally occurring elements, 20 are non-metals and most of the rest, which is 78, are metals. Then the chemical properties of certain compounds which are very frequently used is given. First compound is matchstick. So matchstick is made up of antimony trisulfide and potassium chlorate and it has the rubbing surface of the matchstick has powdered glass and red phosphorus. When we strike the matchstick against this red phosphorus, it gets converted into white phosphorus, which is highly reactive, as we have seen before, and it reacts to form potassium chlorate, and this creates enough heat to light the match and ignite the antimony trisulfide. One important compound is carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is used as a fire extinguisher, but when extinguishing petrol or oil related fires, or even electrical fires. In these cases, water is ineffective as a fire extinguisher because water being heavier than petrol and oil will sink to the bottom, whereas the petrol and oil shall remain on the top and continue to burn. And when water is used on electrical fires, it is a good conductor of electricity, and so it could lead to further inflammation. However, carbon dioxide is used in such fires because it is heavier than oxygen. Oxygen is needed for a fire to continue, and carbon dioxide cuts off this oxygen supply of the fire and forms a protective blanket on the fire, and this leads to extinguishing of the fire quickly. Then certain other important properties. Atoms are the basic units of all elements, and subatomic particles like protons, electrons, and neutrons are the constituents of atoms. Electrons were discovered by J.J. Thomson. Protons were discovered by Goldstein, and neutrons were discovered by Chadwick. The atomic number of a metal is decided by the number of protons in the atom. The mass number is the sum of the protons and the neutrons present in an atom. Isotopes. These are metals which have the same atomic number but different atomic mass number. This is because of the same number of protons found in isotopes but different number of neutrons. The chemical properties of isotopes are same, as chemical properties depend on the electronic structure, but their physical properties are different. So some might be solids, some might be liquids, and there are then the second category known as isobars. So isobars have different mass, different atomic number, but the same mass number. So the number of protons and neutrons combined are equal in isobars, that is why their atomic weight is equal, but they have different number of protons, and so their atomic number is different, and so is their chemical property. Isotones have same number of neutrons but different number of protons and electrons. So even isotones have different chemical properties. The last topic is a brief description of radioactivity. Radioactivity was discovered by Becquerel scientist, whereas nuclear fission was discovered by Fermi. And what is this radioactivity and types of radioactive elements? So every radioactive element has a property that it decays and it emits certain particles. So these decays are of three types. Number one is alpha decay. In this, a helium nucleus is emitted, and helium is positively charged, heavy and slow, and that is why alpha decays have low penetrating power and they are easily blocked, whereas beta decay are electrons. They are lighter and faster, and therefore they are tougher to block and have more penetrating power. Gamma decays are high energy photons, and they are the lightest and fastest and very tough to block and have the highest penetrating power amongst all the types of decays. right? So some miscellaneous facts based on these chapters. Hydrogenation of vegetable oils uses nickel as a catalyst. The mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen gives us water gas or synthetic gas. Oxygen is the most abundant element on the earth, whereas dihydrogen is the most abundant element in the universe. Aqua regia is a solvent that is used to dissolve gold and platinum. It is highly reactive and it is made up of a mixture of hydrochloric acid and nitric acid in the ratio of 3:1. So you can note down this aqua regia. Then finally, anesthesia. This is used during surgeries as a painkiller. So this is made up of oxygen and nitrous oxide. When we give anesthesia to a patient, then he does not feel pain in that body or he passes out, and therefore surgery can be performed on him. Also, another medical related compound is carbogen. Carbogen is 95% oxygen and 5% carbon dioxide, and this stimulates natural breathing, right? So that was it related to this chapter on elements. You can go to the website and note down any of the points that you might need clarification on, right? So there are some quiz questions that you must answer. Once you finish with this chapter, you will be able to easily answer these questions, and once you do that, you can move on to the next chapter. Don't forget to give us your comments and feedback on this video and further videos so that we can improve. Thank you for your time and best of luck.